All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Astroneer, and Q3 is dropping today. I still don't have an official name for Q3 right now, to be honest with you. Let's just call it the fall update. When it releases, this video is being recorded before it releases. When it releases, I will know what the update name is, and then I'll fix it appropriately. All right, well, some cool and exciting things are happening inside of Astroneer with this update. If you guys remember the BOO event, B-O-O event, the new event for the fall update is called the EXO-FARM update. Fuel Acquisition, Renewal, and Maintenance Event. That's what FARM stands for. And there's been some changes to the whole process of generating fuel. So if you had participated in the BOO event, you remember that you use these cauldrania to produce fuel. Now there's 3 different types of cauldrania. There's a leisurely cauldrania. I'm going to have a hard time pronouncing these. The brisk cauldrania. And the swift cauldrania. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied on cauldrania. And what they do is they produce fuel at different speeds. You can find the leisurely one on Silva and the brisk one on Calidor, and then you can find the swift one on Atrox. Each one of these has the ability to do all 3 of the recipes. I have them set to 3 different recipes, but you can change the recipe by hitting the F button or whatever the appropriate button is on your controller. And you can see more information, detailed information on the tooltip, which tells you what it produces and what it requires. This requires 2 sturdy squash samples to produce squashaline. And then the next recipe is a tapatrol. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sure. A squash sample, a sturdy squash sample, and a mutated spiky Attacus plant. So that's the shooty plants. So you got to beat up those guys to get their seeds. And then also you have the noxaline, which is a sturdy squash sample, and then the mutant elegant spew flower seed, which is those flowers that spew off poison to you. So each one of these can be found on the appropriate planets, the plants, and also the cauldrania. And you can disconnect them and bring them back to your main base, wherever your main base might be. So they fit nicely on a 4 slot or something on a large shuttle, something like that. Or you can also just package them up to put them in a nice little box to take home with you. So if you set them on a base, you can have multiple of these running at any given point in time. The sturdy squashes can be found on 3 different planets. You can find wild sturdy squash on Silva, on Calidor, and also on Atrox. Something to note, and you happen to see your squashes acting like this. This is because your save file was also used for the BOO event last year in October. The problem with this is if you get close to these, you wind up getting stuck. And you can't get yourself out of it. The only way to get yourself out of it is to find an area in which you can highlight one of these squashes and harvest it with your action key. It will then display another squash that you happen to be stuck on, and you'll have to harvest the second one, and then you'll be free again. So easy temporary fix to get around this problem. I've made System Error aware of the issue. They know about it, and I was told that either a hotfix will be coming out shortly or it will come out when the update comes out. I don't think it'll come out when the update comes out because this video has been made several hours before the update is supposed to release. So I seem to think it'll probably be a hotfix. But there is an easy solution to get yourself unstuck. Harvesting the sturdy squash can be done either by digging up the plant or using the action key to harvest the plant. The squash will produce seeds, and sometimes they will also produce a sturdy squash sample, which can be used inside of the research chamber to give you bites. Replanting the seed is easy enough by placing it down and using your action key to plant. These will then grow up into full-size sturdy squashes, which can be harvested again and replanted one more time. In this update, there was also a new repeater that's been introduced, which is the proximity repeater, which will activate any of the items within its current range. So this is great for seeds. You can see that I've I've got within the proximity of my proximity repeater all of these seeds, and if I activate it, all of these seeds will be planted. So this is a nice, easy way for you to plant seeds and also harvest any fully grown sturdy squash. So you can see how useful this will be to generate or create some sort of farm just by easily using it again and replanting those seeds that were inside of the radius. If some happen to fall outside of the radius, it's easy. You could just activate it one more time. You notice that we produced a ton of sturdy squash samples, which can be, once again, researched. So think about this as a cool way to get yourself some easy bites. The sturdy squash come in various different colors. You can see I've got an orange and I've got a slightly green one. They also come in various different shapes, where I've got a bumpy one and some smooth ones. You also might find some ones with the Astroneer logo on them. And these different looking sturdy squash also contain different names: round, plump, knobby, wild, and also the very special purple one called Curious. And when harvesting that one, there is a chance to get Astronium. The button repeater, like I said before, is used to activate anything within its range, and that can include a variety of things. So you can see I've got some research samples, some fireworks, a packager. If I put some dynamite in there, it would also activate all of those as well. Make sure to be very careful when activating the proximity repeater, because again, anything within inside of this radius will get activated, and it might cause some unexpected results. One really great way to use the proximity repeater is to attach it to a tractor, move yourself relatively close to some sort of plant that has research items, and activate the auxiliary key on your vehicle. And you will activate all the research items and gain all those bites. This makes early bite collection really simple. Another way to use the proximity repeater is in automation. So if I set myself up some sort of little timer here and connect it to the proximity repeater, as soon as my timer fires off, the proximity repeater will fire off. And this way I can have it automatically plant seeds and also pick up any additional items that might be needed, such as the research items. So you can see how this would be very useful for planting seeds, harvesting seeds, and using them inside of the cauldronias to produce the fuels that are required for the limited time event. Also, it's a nice little way to set up automated bite production while the squashes are still in effect, by harvesting these sturdy squash samples and feeding them into a research chamber. You get a quick 300 bites in 1 minute. So envision setting up many different research chambers, and you can start producing massive amount of bites pretty quickly by using this method. Another big change to Q3 is the trade platform. And the trade platform, the UI looks completely different now. You'll notice that there are up and down arrows as well as left and right arrows, and that allows you to move between different tabs. The top tab happens to be scrap related. So trading scrap will give you organic, compound, graphite, sphalerite, ammonium, everything that it used to give you before. But going down to the lower tab, you can see Astronium is now being used also as a trade item, and you can trade for hydrazine, exochips, packagers, solid fuel jump jets, and dynamite. The Astropedia has now been updated and gives additional information about damage, respawning, and retrieving items. For those of you who are wondering where the tutorial went, the tutorial has now been removed from Astroneer and has been, it hasn't really been replaced. But if you go through the mission system inside of Astroneer, which can be found on the landing pad, there are enough missions in there to help you understand how to play Astroneer, as well as the Astropedia, which will guide you through the basics. Some other new items that I'll have to cover later are there's an updated tether topper for fall Currently, right now, I'm playing right before the release, and the tether toppers are not in there. So I will show you those later. I'll also show you some of the items that you get out of the limited time event, the XOFARM, or Fuel Acquisition, Renewal, and Maintenance event, as well as some of the new store items that are coming out, which I just don't have available yet because this has not been released to public. The other big item that's come out in the update, the Q3 update, the fall update, whatever you want to call it, is Steam Cloud Saves. So you're now able, if you're using Steam, to save your saves in the cloud, which will be extremely helpful for people who are trying to play across multiple machines. All right, well, that is it for me. I'll have more Q3 videos coming out, dealing with some automation and dealing with some other things that I didn't cover, like the ExoFarm related limited time event stuff, the store items, so on and so forth. So I hope to see you guys soon. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Not a subscriber? Subscribe. Love to have you in the community. Want to follow me on any of my social media? Look in the links below. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.